It's your daily dose of Donna. Today is Thursday, September 18th, a rainy, overcast, turning sunny day here in Los Angeles. We have definitely entered some sort of tropical season here in LA. It's a little confusing. Woke up this morning and had a big rain shower. Like, what? What? How? What's going on? But it was nice to feel a little difference in weather for LA, even though it's like 100 degrees out there. How is it in your neck of the woods, as Al Roker likes to say? I'm glad it's Thursday. It's Friday Eve. And that makes me happy because I could use a little break after this week. Can't you? Anyone else feeling a little overwhelmed from everything that's happening? I seriously was like, last night, I felt to myself, how am I going to cover all of the news? How am I going to do it in a way that is not going to alienate everyone? I don't think there is a way not to alienate everyone. I talked about the update about Jimmy Kimmel, which we will talk about today. I got peer pressured into talking about Jimmy Kimmel. I did talk about it on my stories. I didn't talk about it. I didn't even tell people my feelings. I just posted about it. I just shared that he got yanked off ABC, that he got pulled. And the amount of DMs I got, the amount of discourse I got, the amount of anger I got. Now, it couldn't have been towards me because I didn't say anything. But just the amount of passion that is rising right now with people. And then the amount of people that said, don't you dare go into this, Donna. Don't step into this. Don't do it, Donna. Don't get into this one. Don't put your foot in this mess. And I'm telling you, part of me says, you're right. Maybe I shouldn't. But then it's like, if I don't talk about this, it would be kind of weird because this is Hollywood news. It is Hollywood news, right? It is. So like, we kind of do want to talk about it. And the way I'm going to approach it is hopefully in a very interesting way. I have like a little bit of an approach to it that hopefully won't make anyone feel alienated because I don't want to alienate anyone. I was told last week in a DM from someone who I consider a very close friend of mine, a listener who feels alienated sometimes listening to the podcast because they feel that their political beliefs are on an entire different spectrum and they feel alienated. And I was like, that is the last thing I ever want anyone to feel when they listen to my show, because I don't ever feel like I come on my show with a really strong political sense. Like, I am not a political show. I never come on my show like, so I never want anyone to feel alienated. So I'm trying to, and I don't do everything perfect, but I'm going to try to come in here from like an industry perspective with a lot of different sides. Okay. And then we're just going to talk about it. All right. I already see a lot of anger in comments. See, I didn't even say anything wrong. Hopefully you're not mad at me. But you kind of have to just get over if people are mad at you, right? Like, I can't be Blake Lively. Not everyone's going to like me. I'm just going to go eat a burrito in a bathroom. If you've been following the Blake and Justin case, you know what I'm talking about. Now, speaking of Blake and Justin, did you know that B records people without people knowing? Yeah. We're going to get into that. Oh, just you wait. Just you wait. Just you wait. My name is Alexander Hamilton. Isn't that the best song? I did just send out Dylan's bar mitzvah invitations. I wish I could show them to you, but then I can't because then you'll know exactly where they are, where it is. But it's a Hamilton themed. It's Broadway themed. Okay, it's Broadway. It's so cute. It says Dylan, the bar mitzvah. So excited. Okay, let's get into the show. If you're here, if you're queer, if you're sheer, and if you're near to my heart, make sure that you hit the subscribe and the like, because everyone, get your arms out. It is time to sprinkler. It's time to do your damn thing. Everyone, it's your daily dose of Donna. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I'm so excited that you're here. Feel so grateful for you you're spending your afternoon or your morning, wherever you are, here with me. I don't ever take it lightly that you spend your time with me, honestly. I'm very grateful for every single person that spends their time with me. I know that views are hard to get and subscribers are hard to get and an audience is hard to get, and they're fickle and they come and they go. So I am very grateful that you guys are all here. Yes, Maddie says, who was it? Ramona who showed Teresa's Judice's wedding invitation with the address. Exactly. I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to show you guys the address, and then I have to completely change the wedding. No, the bar mitzvah, not the wedding. Micah, why are you mad at me? Micah's pissed, and I didn't even do anything yet. Can't win them all. Micah, sorry that I can't find you a wife. Where's Mildred? Speaking of wives, where is Mildred? Everyone was asking me about Mildred last night. Like, Mildred's kind of popular on this show. I'm just going to say, like, at one point we will do a dating game for Mildred. Now, welcome to the live chat. Melissa says, I finally made a live chat. Woohoo! Very excited about that. We're very grateful to have you. Let's get into the show. Do we want to start? Do we want to start with Jimmy? I don't think so. Who wants to start there? I think we start with Blake and her shady, shady ways. I say we start there, right? Let's get into Blake. I don't want to get into Blake. No one wants to get into that. Even Ryan Reynolds, remember that face? His poop face. We don't want to get into that, but we do want to talk about this recording. Now, this is an interesting development, and it came from a letter from our fave, Ellen Garofalo. And it was yesterday. And this was really interesting. So, long story short, which has never happened on this show. I want to take one of these out because I can't hear myself talk, and I have Wrigley in here, and I just want to make sure she's not making noise. Yesterday, a letter was written by Ellen Garofalo about unsealing a record. I'm going to read it to you guys, and then we're going to talk about what this means. And it's really revealing. And it's about a conversation with Mr. Steve Sarowitz. And it really opens up a lot of information that I don't think a lot of us knew. I am so interested in this. September 17th, written yesterday from Ellen Garofalo's office over to Judge Lyman. On behalf of Wayfarer Studios, lists all of them, we submit this opposition to the plaintiff's letter motion requesting the court that to continue to seal this one portion of what Lively wants. So Lively has been trying to seal this one portion of her, of this one motion of hers, which is asking for all these treble damages and fees and crazy amounts of money, like psychotic amounts of money under 47.1. And portions of the declaration and the entirety of Exhibit 1 to the declaration. And this is why they want to unseal it. So basically, Blake wants this sealed. The plaintiff wants it sealed to the public. She doesn't want the public to see what's under seal. And the accused, meaning Wayfarer and Justin Baldoni and Sarowitz and Lime and Heath and all of them, are saying, no, we want this unsealed. We want the public to be able to see all of this. That's kind of rare, right? That's kind of rare. But why? Let's go on. It says the materials concern an alleged recording. Yes, this is going to be perfect for the true crime documentary that comes out of this entire mess. This is literally a Lifetime movie. The materials concern an alleged recording made by the witness of a conversation with defendant Steven Sarowitz without his consent. Okay, can we take a moment and discuss what that even means, y'all? So, Steven Sarowitz is the billionaire. He's the owner of Wayfarer Studios. He's the one that's funding this lawsuit. He is the one that they have said many times, said, I am going to ruin Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. I'm willing to spend hundreds of millions of dollars, whatever the quote is. I'm paraphrasing. He's also the one that was willing to say, like Israel and Hamas. I am Israel and they are Hamas, and I'm going to exterminate them or whatever. There's gonna be 2 dead bodies. All of these comments. He's an active part of this lawsuit. He's a very powerful man in this lawsuit, and he was recorded without his consent. Now, the question is, where was this recording done and who made this recording? Also, let's talk about where you're allowed to record without consent. California recording consent laws requires 2-party consent. New York recording consent laws is a 1-party consent state. We know that this movie was filmed in New York, so most likely it was in New York. But Steve Sarowitz lives in Illinois, so let's look at Illinois recording consent laws is a 2-party consent state. So if he was recorded in New York without his consent, it's legal. If he was recorded in Illinois, where he actually lives, it's illegal. If he was recorded here in California, where Wayfarer's home base is, it's illegal. So the question is, where was that recording taking place? We don't know. Does anyone know? I'm very curious. Curious. Let's keep going. It says, plaintiff seeks to seal the audio recording in its entirety, although she purported to selectively quote from it in a portion of her brief in the public unsealed version she filed from the court. So basically, shocker, Lively cherry picks little clips. And let's be real. As someone who has been personally the victim, I don't make anything about me, but as someone who has been the victim of being clipped and little sentences from my Patreon, which is totally illegal, by the way, but from my Patreon and from here on YouTube or my podcast, and put on places like Reddit or other places, and being called all these horrible names because of one sentence I've said out of context, just because they are just pulling one sentence without the whole conversation. And then everyone can make an opinion. It is completely out of line to bring that to evidence in a public manner, saying Steve Sarowitz said A, B, and C without presenting the entire conversation. Anyone should know that if you are going to show someone some sort of an episode, some sort of a conversation, some sort of a quote from someone, you should be able to show the entirety of the quote. Correct? It's absolutely outrageous. Yeah, Ocean Exploration says, remember when Ezra Hudson, the attorney, bitched about Andy Signor recording the phone call to her office about the subpoena status? Yeah, but that is in California, I will say. That is a 1-party. Yeah, because he's in California, even though they're not. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Nancy says, if it was a recording of a phone call, the rule defers to the stricter law. So even if the recorder thought they were safe because they were in a 1-party state, if Steve Sarowitz was in a 2-party state, it's 2. Interesting. I didn't know that. Sue says he lives in Florida now. I thought he was still in Illinois. Is Florida a 2-party state? Yeah, I don't think this happened in Florida, though. It had to have happened. Florida is a 2-party. So everywhere is a 2-party except New York? That's weird. Why is New York so chill about recording? Interesting. Oh, Andy's in Florida. I know, but what about Steve? Okay, let's keep going. It says, Lively boldly claims she placed the substance of the relevant information from Exhibit 1 in the public record, flatly ignoring that the person recorded without his consent. Mr. Sarowitz should be allowed to have the entire recording made public to ensure accuracy and provide context. It's effed up. I'm sorry. There, the entirety of the conversation should be made public, not one sentence, not one piece out of context. And I think everyone absolutely should agree with that, no matter what side you're on. It's not fair. As previously stated, it's like, okay, here, I'll give an example for Blake Lively's team. It's like saying that Blake Lively would have said one sentence if you cut that dance scene out, and all you said was the Blake Lively sentence saying something to Justin Baldoni, but not showing the entirety of their back and forth with the dancing. Like, you have to show it all in context for it to make sense. It's like if Justin Baldoni released the text messages between Justin and Blake and only showed the Blake sentence of "never with teeth, ballbusters" quote, but didn't show the back and forth of the context of why they were having those conversations. It's not fair. Lack of context is a huge issue, Ellie says. Absolutely. It's everything. Then it continues to say, as previously stated by the court, the Supreme Court and Second Circuit have long, okay, this is just kind of a little bit of showing, with previous cases that this is something that you have to do, where the presumption of public access is at its strongest. Okay, Wrigley. Oh, my puppy took my shoe. I'm going to let her have it. Where the presumption of public access is at its strongest, as it is here with respect to the materials, the presumption can only be overcome by countervailing considerations, Okay. With respect to the brief, plaintiff seeks to seal two portions on page 5. The name of the declarant at the top of the page and a description of how Exhibit 1 was produced in footnote 9. The Wayfarer parties have no objection to the first requested redaction, meaning they are okay with the name being redacted, but as no explanation was provided for sealing the last sentence in footnote 9, and none exists, that sentence must be unsealed. Plaintiff already disclosed that she produced Exhibit 1. Further, she publicly disclosed the document was an audio tape by citing to time markers typically used when referencing an audio recording. So she's already talked about the fact that it is an audio back and forth. And then, and she's saying plaintiff improperly seeks to hide any context for the alleged verbal abuse, why the meeting with Mr. Sarowitz took place, when it took place, and what allegedly happened after the conversation. Finally, plaintiff does not provide any explanation why Exhibit 1 to the declaration must be sealed, other than it would invite additional media coverage, which she is concerned will be adverse to her. Wait, hold on, hold up, reverse, back it up. Blake Lively is concerned about bad media coverage because of this? Sorry, what? This is the one? This is the one? Okay, girl, do I have a piece of info for you, my friend? However, it is well settled that the generalized concern of adverse publicity and reputational injury are insufficient to justify sealing records, meaning that is not a good excuse, my friend. Importantly, Lively herself is responsible for the substantial media coverage resulting from her decision to include alleged quotations from the Exhibit 1 audio recording of Mr. Sarowitz. Certainly, any privacy interest belongs to Mr. Sarowitz, the person who was recorded without his consent. He should be permitted to have the public hear the an out of context purported transcription of the audio recording. Period. End of story. Done. Okay. Aunt Clara scared me because she said it all starts with one shoe and then she can't get enough. Give me back my shoe. Oh, she already moved on to a bone. She's over my shoe. Okay. So whether or not it was an audio recording or a Zoom call, this is interesting. Cat says, I'm wondering if it was a Zoom call. It doesn't matter. If it's any sort of recording, the world needs to see it. The public needs to see it because you don't just release one sentence. And the sentence was pretty damaging. It was incredibly damaging to Steve Sarowitz. This is a man, like I've told you, that prides himself on being incredibly philanthropic. He has zero bad press about him. Literally, we've already done all the digging. We've Googled it. We've searched. Not one bad piece of press about this guy anywhere, everywhere. And the only thing that has been searched about him or seen that is negative is coming from this lawsuit where there's two bad sentences attributed to him, both coming from this like hearsay audio call, which is one that he's willing to spend $100 million to ruin Blake and Ryan or whatever. Like I said, this is paraphrasing because I don't have it in front of me. And B, where he is, did you guys hear a bad noise? You guys are all saying, was it a ghost? Oh my God, I didn't hear anything. And then secondly, uh, um, what was it? The second one was if he is, um, the Hamas Israel sentence. Like these are two very inflammatory, very egregious sentences to attribute to a man who has zero bad press and is a fairly quiet, not public person. He's a private person. Like no one had ever heard of. Oh my God, there was a weird noise and things froze for a few seconds. Blake, maybe the FCC is taking me off the air. Did I do it? Is it me? Okay, sorry guys. So Big Bang? There was a Big Bang? What? I'm gonna have to rewatch this. I didn't see anything. I didn't hear anything. That's so crazy. Weird. Okay. Truly, I think someone's recording us. It's called YouTube. I think YouTube is recording us. So bang or slap? Are we in like a porn? Sounded like something fell off. You guys, what is Okay, I've got to calm it down. I got to stay on board here. Not like yesterday with Ned Fulmer and his wife. Okay. So anyway, the point is, I think that she is showing her true colors here. And it's not her, it's her team. But the interesting thing is who recorded him? Who was this conversation with? And we can narrow it down. I am going to go as far very confidently to say I still truly believe in my heart's heart, I still truly believe it's Liz Plank. I feel pretty confident about it. Sorry, I do. I feel confident it's Liz Plank. And I don't know if you guys agree with me on that one, but I don't believe that it's not Liz Plank. I don't see who else this conversation would have been with. And there is something very interesting. Why was Mildred's back? Why was there a microphone and a recording? Why was there a recording being done in this day that he had this conversation with Liz Plank? I really want to know. Please tell me, because the interesting part is if you are going into a conversation with the owner, the executive, the head of Wayfarer, for whatever reason, and you are planning to record it without telling the person, hey, I'm going to be recording this conversation, you have ulterior motives. You're doing it for a nefarious reason. You're doing it because something bad is expected. The only reason you take a screenshot of something, the only reason you film something, the only reason you record something is because you assume something bad may happen, right? Why do you put up nanny cams? Why do you put up security cameras? Why do you screen record? Why do you screenshot everything? Why do you put everything in writing? You assume that you have everything on camera or whatever because the goal is that that you're going to possibly need to use this in some capacity. So is there a world where, you had to kind of think that you were going to use this ahead of you and then you submitted this to Blake Lively at the perfect time? Like, oh, by the way, I've got great evidence for your lawsuit, my friend. Interesting. Now, really, really interesting. Are you guys still hearing banging or we're done with the banging? Speaking of Liz Plank, and I really didn't want to show you guys this because she makes me nauseous, truly. She is so far gone in some capacities, and I don't understand anyone. I don't think anyone in my arena feels like her connects with Liz, is on the same page as Liz. I just don't think that we're all in the same world as Liz. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't think like some of us are not like the other. And I don't think Liz Plank and I will ever connect in any way. But someone sent me a reel that she created a few days after Charlie Kirk died that is so out of control. And I don't even know if I want to show it to you because it's so angry. It's the most opposite reaction that you would ever think you should have towards someone's death. But it is so angry towards men. And I just can't understand how a woman like Liz Plank got a job and worked for Justin Baldoni and Jamie Heath for a year or 2 years, or I don't know how long, working for a project called the Man Enough Podcast, correct? That was the name of it, where their job was to build up men in a non-toxic way, in a kind way. And she hates men. And I'm saying this like, I don't think I'm making it up. We thought like, LOL, Paige DeSorbo hates men, from Bravo. But this for real is insanely scary, the way she talks about men. I guess I'll show you just a piece because at this point, like, you guys should see a little bit what I'm talking about if she hasn't already. Blocked me. Because her partner, Katie Couric has. Okay, she hasn't blocked me. Oh my God. Watching her stuff triggers me. I don't know what it is. Well, I know what it is. How could it not trigger you is the question. If it doesn't trigger you, my worry is like, because when someone's so extreme, I don't like extremists. I don't like right extremists. I don't like left extremists. I don't like super feminists. I don't like super masculinists, whatever they're called. I just like middle people. I like normies. Can we just be normal? That's my new podcast. It's going to be called Can We Just Be Normal? Okay, please. Everyone, hold on to your horses because this here is a wild ride of the wilderness, okay? This is her with Katie Couric at the top. I still can't believe Katie Couric is doing a podcast with her. How far Katie Couric has fallen to be with Liz Plank. It just is shocking to me. Are you ready? This is about Charlie Kirk.
The end of men. Usually when we see these headlines of the end of men, it's like men are failing in schools, men don't have any friends, men can't go on dates, men are having sex anymore, men are addicted to drugs, men are killing themselves. But men aren't just killing themselves, they're killing each other. And you know who endangers men the most? Other men. I'm going to say it. The greatest threat to our boys and their safety are the older men who are in power, who have influence, who have money, and who do nothing to keep them safe. And actually who go out of their way to put them in harm's way by blocking any kind of common sense gun control, by blocking any kind of regulation of violent speech online, or even violent videos like the assassination video that was just sent and
why is she so
amplified
scary?
Because of these algorithms that these men have built. When we say young men are being radicalized, we have to say by who. We have to say because of who. There are people who could be protecting these boys, particularly men who could be protecting these boys who aren't doing it, and in fact are putting.
I can't. I just had a heart attack. To put this all on a whole entire gender is really sad. This is not a man issue. The fact that you're saying, yeah, so is she talking about Ryan Reynolds? Okay, great. Yes, Ryan, it's you. It's Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. Yes, you know what? It's Lin-Manuel Miranda's fault. It's Andy Cohen's fault. It is, I can't wait it's Jimmy Kimmel's fault, Liz. How about, give me someone, you guys, that is like really, really, really progressive. A man that is like a super big feminist. Because it's his fault too, because he's a man. It's a man's fault. I can't. People like that, is that just rage bait? It definitely is Jax's fault. Sandy says it's Jax, but like it definitely is Jax. Like we can all agree it's Jax's fault, right? Poor Lin Manuel got caught astray. I love Lin Manuel. You know, Hamilton's on my mind. I love Hamilton. I mean, it's so wild. Yeah, she's probably thinking about Justin Baldoni during that. She has a picture with Justin Trudeau. Is it his fault too? To pin an awful incident on just men is so it's you know what it is, in my opinion? It is the laziest approach to this. Because if you just say it's men as a species in its entirety, then you're not really actually going into the work of what it could be. Because there's a lot of really dangerously unwell women out there. One of them I just talked about on the show earlier. It's crazy. Yeah, I'm not a bot says search men touch my lower back. Why can't I video? Oh, I've pulled that up on the show. Liz Plank. That was like so much. Katie Couric, what? And if we get rid of men, who will Mildred marry? Exactly. It's not my son's fault yet. All right. Let's give them a chance. Let's give them a chance. So okay. And if I'm getting hate after this episode, it's because you hate men, maybe. I don't know. Well, I'm not even done because I have so much more to talk about that's controversial. Shit. I like thought so much. I was like, I'm not going to go controversial this week. This week I'm just going to talk about Real Housewives, keeping it light and tight. Keeping it light and tight. Can't keep it light and tight. Okay. Oh, do we do it? Do we talk about the Jimmy Kimmel stuff? You guys, are we here? Are we good? Am I going to get yelled at? All right. This is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to talk about this. And I'm going to talk about this in a real your best friend Liz. Is it Liz? She says, I think by men she meant administration. And let's face it, most high-powered administrative jobs right now are taken by men. No, if you listen, she meant men are being taken out by other men, meaning like the men are the ones that are killing other men, and men are the ones that are. That's what she meant. Go watch it. Is that you, Liz? Just kidding. Okay, let's talk about Jimmy Kimmel. Let's be kind. But before we do that, can we take a moment and talk about my I think we all need a little therapy this week. So let's take a moment and talk about the sponsor. Because that makes sense, right? To talk about Rula. At this moment, we do need therapy. All of us need therapy. Telehealth is very important, and it's made mental health care more convenient and accessible for millions of people. However, critical challenges like finding a suitable therapist, scheduling appointments, and the expensive out-of-pocket costs still keep many from getting the care they need. Rula is on a mission to make high-quality mental health care from a licensed professional easy and affordable for everyone. Rula's got you covered. They take most major insurance plans, and the average copay is only $15 per session. You can now get the quality care you need when you need it at a price you can afford. Rula isn't just affordable. They stick with you throughout your journey, making sure you get the best therapy and that you're making progress. With Rula, every provider is carefully vetted and chosen for their expertise. You'll always know you're in the hands of quality providers who are dedicated to making real progress in your care. The first step on your journey to mental well-being is easy. Rula starts by asking you a few questions about what's important to you and then provides a list of licensed and network providers who match your preferences. You can schedule your preferred time and meet with your therapist as soon as the next day. Thousands have already trusted Rula to support them on their journey towards improved mental health and overall well-being. Head on over to rula.com/daily dose to get started today. After you sign up, they ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them our show sent you. Go to rula.com/daily dose and take the first step towards better mental health today. You deserve quality care from someone who cares. I think I also want to wrap that moment up really fast because what I was thinking about while I was reading them, I think why I brought that whole story up is because she did a podcast with two men. I don't really know what Jamie Heath's story is, but I know Justin Baldoni's story. His whole story was to talk about the fact that men don't have to be those toxic, horrible versions of what society likes to place on what men are, correct? And tell me if I'm wrong. Men are placed in this box. And men come in a lot of forms. And I'm not a male advocate by any means. I'm not a female advocate. I just talk about all kinds of things, right? But men come in a lot of forms. There are good men, there are bad men. There are kind men, there are evil men. There are gentle, sweet, loving men, and there are cruel, murdering, psychopathic serial killer men. And you can say the exact same for females, for women, right? You can say the exact same on both genders. So, yes, do we see technically more in these cases, in this violence stories? Yes. Do we see more that are men? Absolutely. There's no question. I don't have all the statistics in front of me, but yes, there's no question. But do we think, or do you think it helps society or the world to put out a version that men are the problem, not bad men, not mentally struggling men, not this kind of man that is, maybe on drugs or struggling with da da da, but just men. MEN. Doesn't matter. From all walks of life. Doesn't matter if you're the kindest, most philanthropic, loving, most gentle, adopting all the dogs on the side of the street, giving to all of the homeless. Doesn't matter. You're already a bad person because you are a man. That to me is where it's dangerous. And I'm shocked that she, with that heart, had that position working with someone like a Justin Baldoni forever. Did she always feel that way? Or is this a new version of her? I never listened to their podcast. Is this a new side of Liz? Or was she always this combative about that gender? I don't know. It's interesting. It's dangerous and interesting. But it seems to me like she despises men, despises them, which is also pretty dangerous. You shouldn't hate men, just like as a man, you shouldn't hate women. That's an Andrew Tate quality, right? Men that hate women are incredibly dangerous. I think they're sick. So I think men that hate women just because they are women are cuckoo. I would say the same for a woman that hates a man, right? Okay, let's move on. Okay. Jimmy Kimmel. Yesterday, when I saw the news about Jimmy Kimmel, I have to be honest. I was incredibly shocked. I'm just going to walk you through my own feelings, and then I'm going to walk you through what I saw. My own feelings. I was incredibly like, wait, what? Number one, I don't watch Jimmy Kimmel. I don't watch late night TV because I'm sleeping. Truthfully, I go to sleep between 9:30 and 10:30. Okay. I don't watch late night TV. Never really did. Never really did. So I'm not shocked. I wasn't like, oh my God, my favorite TV show. Like none of that. I saw like a little something on like a news alert, but I didn't think it was real. But then when I saw the clip or the article that he was yanked offline, I was like, whoa. I mean, it's a big deal. He must have said something horrible. But I found it also kind of fascinating that on Sunday, or sorry, he said this on Monday, and yesterday is Wednesday, and I hadn't even heard about it, meaning it wasn't even a big enough news story that people were talking about it in the online world. Usually when when like a late night talk show host or a comedian or someone says something that's that egregious and that horrible, it's immediately blasted out. An hour later, people can't believe it. Like if SNL goes really wild with a joke and says something like really distasteful, or if a comedian says something really bad, or in a talk show, you usually wake up the next morning and it's blasted everywhere. So I do understand. I didn't understand what he could have said that was so bad since none of us really saw it, right? None of us saw the news. Um, so I was like taken aback by it. Okay. I was taken aback by it. So of course, what do? I immediately go online to like get people's opinions. And that's what my favorite thing to do is. Um, First thing is I posted it on my story and I wanted to get your opinions because I think I have a lot of people that follow me from all sides of the coin. I definitely noticed that in the last week or so. Since Charlie Kirk died, I think I lost a lot of people, but I think a lot of people that stuck around I noticed well, the one thing that I noticed is a lot of them just have good hearts. The people that stuck around have good hearts because you guys, even if you didn't agree with anything Charlie Kirk said, a lot of you said, I did despised his thoughts, but I can't believe he was killed. Like I would never, ever celebrate his murder. And those are the people that stuck around. So I asked you guys on Instagram stories, I said, what are your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you not even know what he said? As of right now, which is a little over 12 hours after the story was put up, this is the answer. These are the numbers. It's very tight, very tight. 41%, so this is 1,142 votes that voted, agree with the decision. 37%, so just a little bit less, 1,024 votes, so 100 people less, disagree. So we're off by 100 people. 1,142 to 1,024 disagree. And then 22%, 600 people have no idea what he even said as of the time that they voted. So the vote is very, very tight, meaning we are completely split, as I would imagine, as a country right now over how you guys feel about this. And that's kind of how my brain is. I'm going to be honest because I'm going back and forth. I'm like, I don't really know how to feel about this. Everything I see is getting my brain to think about it in a different way. So I'm going to present to you guys what I'm seeing online and what is getting my brain to think about different things. Because what I noticed was I am getting DMs from you guys saying, this is awful. This is a free speech infringement. Trump is a fascist. Trump is a dictator, all the way to this is a job and he was hired by a corporation and he was let go by a corporation. He had to, it was a job and he went like rogue on his job and he was fired. So I think that a lot of people, their algorithms don't show them a lot of things other than what they see, like their own opinions. So I think it's kind of interesting to see a variety of things. How do you guys feel about that? The first thing that I want you guys to see is there's 3 arguments. Okay. The 3 arguments that they have, the first one is a free speech argument. Okay. The people that are going here, that are going on this as a free speech argument, which makes sense by a lot of reasons. Okay. Are saying that one compelling argument against pulling Jimmy Kimmel off the air is, and basically what he said, in case you don't know what he said, was he basically said, he referred to the shooting of Charlie Kirk as he called basically the MAGA gang. He said something along the lines, and I don't want to pull up the entire thing, but he said something like the MAGA gang is doing everything they can to refer to this shooter as anything but their own. Okay. That was one part of the monologue. And then he made jokes showing Trump talking about his ballroom and the construction of the ballroom instead of grieving Charlie. So the free speech argument is that it represents a dangerous precedent for government orchestrated censorship, undermining the First Amendment's core protections for political speech, satire, and comedy. Kimmel's remarks, while provocative and factually disputed by some, as the accused shooter was not clearly affiliated with MAGA, falls squarely under protected expression as opinion based commentary on a public tragedy and political exploitation, hallmarks of late night television that have long tested boundaries without prior federal intervention. The FCC chair's public threats of fines and license revocations against ABC affiliates like Nexstar and Sinclair, who actually ended up pulling him. A lot of people think Trump pulled Jimmy Kimmel. Trump didn't. Nexstar and Sinclair, which are ABC affiliates, did. But then I'll explain to you why people think it's still Trump, even though it wasn't Trump. It was people that affiliates of ABC. But there's more to that, which prompted their preemptions and ABC's capitulation, illustrate how regulatory pressure can coerce private broadcasters into self-censorship, chilling dissent against those in power, rather than allowing the marketplace of ideas to sort fact from hyperbole. This isn't mere corporate caution. It's an echo of authoritarian tactics, where even bad jokes or unpopular opinions lead to platform denial, eroding free speech for all voices, not just Kimmel's. Okay, that's the free speech argument. I'm presenting all the different arguments. So I'm curious for you guys in the comments, who here thinks this was a free speech argument? The second argument is accountability, meaning he said it, he has a job, and he should be fired for going against, the job's rules. One strong argument for ABC's indefinite suspension of Jimmy Kimmel Live in response to Kimmel's monologue being a legitimate accountability decision is that it upholds journalistic and broadcast standards by holding a prominent figure responsible for spreading unsubstantiated claims that could incite further division or harm without relying on government censorship. Kimmel's comments, delivered to millions on a network-owned platform, were factually challenged. The shooter had no verified MAGA ties per police reports, and amplified a narrative that prematurely blamed political rhetoric for a tragedy, potentially fueling real-world tensions in an already polarized climate. As a licensed broadcaster under FCC oversight, ABC has a fiduciary duty to its affiliates, advertisers, and audience to mitigate backlash from such inflammatory content, evidenced by the swift preemptions by major station groups like Nexstar and Sinclair, which cited viewer complaints and regulatory risks. This isn't suppression of speech, but corporate self-regulation. Kimmel, as a paid employee, isn't a private citizen protected from employer consequences for on-air misconduct, much like how networks have suspended hosts, i.e., Roseanne Barr or Bill Maher, in past controversies. For preserves trust in media institutions, ensuring satire punches up without veering into reckless misinformation that could endanger lives or erode public discourse. That's that argument. Okay? And then the final argument is the business argument, which is, what were his numbers? And this is a very valid argument as well. And I'll explain where I come into it at the end. A robust argument for his suspension is that it prioritizes revenue protection and stakeholder relations in a hyper-competitive media landscape. His monologue sparked immediate advertiser pullouts and preemptions by powerhouse affiliates, which air the show in key markets and generate a significant chunk of ABC's syndication fees. With late night viewership already declining and streaming wars, ABC can't afford the reputational hit or FCC scrutiny that could jeopardize broadcast licenses worth billions. Suspending the show is a calculated move to de-escalate, renegotiate with partners, and retain ad dollars, much like Disney's swift axing of Roseanne in 2018 after her tweet controversy, which preserved the network's family-friendly brand despite the hit to ratings. This isn't about ideology or ethics, it's capitalism. Networks treat talent as assets. And when one risks the bottom line, the plug gets pulled to safeguard shareholder value over individual expression. Okay. And just to add to that, Jimmy Kimmel's numbers were in the toilet. You can't lie about that. You thought Colbert's numbers were bad? Jimmy Kimmel in September 2025, this month, had an 11% decline from August. Okay? In second quarter of this year, he was second place behind Colbert. And in this last month, he was third behind Colbert. Fallon was second. He's not doing well. His numbers suck. You have to be honest, okay? So I'm giving you guys the three arguments. What do I think? I think it was a perfect storm. I think this was a perfect storm for Bob Iger and Disney. And I think they couldn't be happier about it. This is how I feel. Now, I know that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to say, oh, no, 100% this is Trump. And maybe Trump putting the pressure on FCC behind the scenes with the money merger had something to do with it. Absolutely. So the FCC was putting pressure on Disney and ABC, and Disney and ABC said, we kind of want to get rid of him anyway. He's not making us good money. It's perfect timing. So maybe in some weird roundabout way, it does go back to Trump. I really do believe that there is a world. But I'm guaranteeing you guys that if ABC wanted to fight this, if Jimmy Kimmel was making ABC a shit ton of money right now, they would fight this tooth and nail. And they would win. I'll give you an example. Here's a great reel where ABC could have fought this and they could have won. I'll tell you right now. This is not I didn't come up with this. This was on CNN. ABC could have fought this tooth and nail if they wanted to, and they would have won. They chose not to because they knew this was their out with Jimmy Kimmel. Watch this. This is on CNN with Wolf Blitzer.
What do you make of that apparent threat from Carr telling the broadcasters, and I'm quoting him now, we can do this the easy way or the hard way in terms of punishing Kimmel? How does the First Amendment right to free speech play here?
So right there, that quote from the Commissioner Carr is where the First Amendment line gets crossed, because the way the courts have defined that line is coercion. If the government is using its coercive powers, its threatening powers to say, do this or else we will take some government action against you, that's where the First Amendment line is crossed. Now, ABC has apparently chosen they're not going to challenge that. They've chosen instead to give in and to suspend Jimmy Kimmel. But if ABC had wanted to, if they had the fortitude to do it or the financial means to do it, they have the means, but the desire to do it, they could have waited, seen if the FCC actually took action, and then challenged them in court. And I think if ABC would have done that, they would have won on a First Amendment basis.
If ABC really wanted to fight for Jimmy, why wouldn't they? Why did ABC decide to pull the plug? Because ultimately, ABC decided to pull the plug on Jimmy Kimmel. This is someone that they've had in their corner for years. Something happened between ABC and Disney for them to say, it's not worth it. What? I think 100%. It was a financial decision at a perfect time because they don't have to take the blame now. Why? Because everyone's going to blame Trump. It's perfect. It's a perfect time for them. Fascism. It works. Right? The one side is like fascism. And the right side is like, we got rid of Jimmy. And Disney and ABC are like, our hands were tied. What can we do? We can't do anything. It's a crazy moment in time. Because I don't think what Jimmy Kimmel did was that outrageous. They could have fought this. What Jimmy Kimmel said was not enough to get fired, in my opinion. Not at all. Not at all. And it's very interesting because I think Jimmy Kimmel is now going to be the victim of free speech. He's going to be like the martyr of free speech. People are going to rise him up. He's going to start a podcast somewhere or YouTube. He's going to be so damn successful. This is a win for Jimmy. Trust me, this is a win for Jimmy. I guarantee you he's going to end up being like the golden boy of Hollywood because no one was watching his show. Clearly, the numbers were horrible. No one was watching his show. But now everyone is going to stand behind Jimmy Kimmel. He's going to win. And maybe ABC even said that to him. Like, we're doing you a favor. There may be a world there. Now, in case you're wondering what the FCC controls, the reason why this doesn't happen over on Fox News, a lot of people are like, well, the guy on Fox News says this and the guy on CNN says, because the FCC doesn't control cable news. The FCC only really controls like network TV. Basic news, whatever, network, CBS, NBC, Fox, not Fox News, not cable TV. So it's really, really interesting. But I read an article that I thought was, incredibly, number one, first of all, I saw an article just this morning that said ABC insiders are ripping the network over a stupid Jimmy Kimmel monologue that led to the suspension. They should have known better. Apparently, ABC insiders are apoplectic over the cancellation of Jimmy Kimmel Live, and they're blaming the network for not editing the late night host's controversial monologue before it aired Monday. Kimmel's show was pulled for all the reasons. And one ABC source fumed, this is according to the New York Post, ABC is stupid. They should have edited Kimmel. They know Trump is after him. Their standards department should have flagged it. They should have known better. A lot of people are mad. They say it's ABC's fault after what happened with George Stephanopoulos. Oh my God, my boy. They should have known. The person added, saying that Kimmel's monologue had veered into political commentary and away from comedy. The truth is, we watched growing up, and I didn't watch it because I was young, but like you guys, if you're older than me, watched David Letterman, Johnny Carson, and all of those people every single night. And do you have any idea, maybe David Letterman, because he was a little bit on the younger end, but like, do you have any idea how Johnny Carson voted? Does anyone know how Johnny Carson voted in presidential elections? I don't think so. I think that's kind of like, that would be the dream in late night TV. It would be nice to get back to a place where we weren't getting inundated with everyone's political choices and feelings on late night TV. There is no question, if anything, you should see how divided our country is. You're going to alienate a lot of your audience. So it's a perfect storm. His numbers were in the toilet. He's saying something at a very, very raw time. ABC and Disney probably wanted him gone for good. Is Bob Iger a Republican? Disney's Bob Iger? Maybe he offended Bob. What about Bob? Jay Leno. Yeah. Did we know how Jay Leno voted? No idea. No idea. Everything is so political online now at night. Bohemian Diva, who was on my show, I did a TikTok about this yesterday, and she said, I don't think America I think America has underestimated how upset the Christian community is after the Charlie Kirk death, and that they've really upset. She said a red tsunami is coming. She's been on my show before. She covers a lot of the Blake Lively stuff. If you guys remember who Bohemian Diva is, she's been on my show. It's a very interesting world where like this is kind of like awoken a giant in that side. I've never seen anything like it. But we're seeing like a really big reaction on so many things. Everything's reacting. So I don't know. Do I think Jimmy Kimmel deserved to be pulled for this one comment? No. That's why I don't think it's about the comment. I think it's a business decision. I really do. I did see a really interesting article, and Moshe. I follow Moshe. He's a CBS. He's a former CBS political journalist. He reports the news. He's online. He says just the facts. He's former executive producer at CBS News, Fox News, and Bloomberg. I believe that he reports very partisan. Like, is it nonpartisan? Yeah, nonpartisan. I try to only follow people that don't report from like a very pro one way or the other. Tell me if you don't believe that he is this way if you follow him. I like him a lot. It's Moshe on Instagram. He has about 550,000 followers. He just like shows little clips of things all the time, and he covers all kinds of topics. I haven't seen this yet, but he talked about what the FCC can and can't control. He talks, and I don't think he's a big Trump fan at all. So in case you guys are wondering if he's like conservative, I don't think he is. I think he's actually more moderate left. But let's see this. He said, history repeats itself. Kimmel got his big break after the Bill Maher controversy. Let's check this out.
So one thing many of you may not know is that the Jimmy Kimmel time slot only became available to him when the predecessor in the time slot was also canceled for a controversial remark. We have to go back to 2001 with Bill Maher before he had the HBO Real-Time show. He had a show on ABC called Politically Incorrect. He did a show 6 days after 9/11 and said the following.
We have been the cowards, lobbing cruise missiles from 2,000 miles away. That's cowardly.
That is a
Staying in the airplane
yes.
when it hits the building.
That is
Say
a
what you want
terribly-
about it, not cowardly.
No, Maher said he regretted that remark the way that he framed it, but the advertiser backlash was significant. They eventually canceled Politically Incorrect with Bill Maher and would go on to replace him with, who else? Jimmy Kimmel more than 20 years ago. By the way, that's not the only issue that ABC has had in recent years. Just about 7 years ago, they fired Roseanne Barr with her return of her series, The Conners, after she posted a very controversial tweet about an Obama advisor, Valerie Jarrett, saying she's a combination of the Muslim Brotherhood and Planet of the Apes. So ABC has been dealing with issues in primetime or late night every few years or so over the last couple decades. So one thing many of you
Yeah, I mean, it's bad timing because of Colbert. It's really bad timing because Colbert just got fired. And I think people are really, really upset because they're feeling like we're silencing people, but no one is being silenced. This is the truth. Jimmy Kimmel can right now can start an empire of his own. He's not silenced, and he should start an empire. That's the beauty of independent media, right? Everyone can start their own YouTube and podcast. And one thing I know is that, yes, he's made money on late night TV, but he can make so much money doing what we do here. And he can make a gazillion more dollars doing it on live touring and podcasting. And he can have fun with it. He can do a show with Colbert together. Jimmy Fallon today canceled a live speech. He was doing a live speech in New York City, totally unrelated to his late night show. He was actually doing a live speech with Bose from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, like a business speech. I don't know what it was. I don't exactly know. And he canceled it, maybe in solidarity or something, maybe because he felt sad or whatever, maybe he's like depressed. I have no idea why he canceled. I kind of felt bad for Bose that he canceled on her, but he canceled his speech. Maybe they're all going to rise up and do some sort of like a boycott or something. I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe every late night host is going to stand up against. I didn't watch, but I heard that The View today went on their show and didn't speak about it. I find that wild. Why didn't The View go on their show and speak about this? Are they scared? Or are they advised not to because it's ABC, it's their own bosses? Listen, I don't think you should be scared to speak. I think you just need to tell the truth. But The View is different. The View is your view. It's called The View. So much of what those women say on The View, in my opinion, is just kind of like viewpoints, right? We may not agree with 90% of what they say, but it's your view. It's like, in my opinion. It's not said as fact or in truth. And I think that that's different, I'm missing. What's my code for Graza olive oil? Always try daily dose. If you ever want codes, just try daily dose. One word. That's random. But if you want olive oil, try daily dose. Oh my gosh, who's fighting in the comments? Why are people fighting? See, people always fight. I don't like that wording. Everyone calm down. Calm down. Did I say something mean? So, okay. Maybe I need to calm it down now. Maybe I need to stop talking about this. And I hope everyone understands that I really tried to present from a very, different, 3 different perspectives. I think it does hit all 3. I think there was a little bit of a free speech like button. I think there was a little bit of an accountability, you work for an employer button. And I think there was a little bit of a business button. And like I said, Bob Iger was like, this could be our moment to finally pull the plug on something that we're bleeding money on. And that's honestly how I feel. Oh, wow. Enrique says, Jimmy said Dominican Republic was like Syria. He can move to Italy now. Good luck. Ooh, he did say he wants to move to Italy to get away from Trump. So we'll say, oh, thanks. Teresa says you did it perfectly and impressively, Donna. Oh, I appreciate you guys. I was scared. Billy says, great job, Donna. It was a perfect storm. Copper says Blake sucks. Agree. Can we agree on that? Sledge says you were fair, Donna. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you guys. Yeah, Jimmy Kimmel did say that he was going to move to Italy. I wonder if he really will now. Could happen. Okay, you guys, I appreciate you. It is all a little upsetting. The world feels upsetting. I feel upset. Like I feel stressed. I feel like we're like bubbling. You know what I mean? I feel like the world is like a seltzer water, like a bottle shaken up, and I'm scared to open it because I do feel like everyone's really, really stressed and really nervous of what's next. And the reactions are just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it scares me. It scares me for me and it scares me for my puppy Wrigley. Like, what kind of world is Wrigley growing up in? And I'm worried for her, right? Wrigley, I'm worried for the world I brought you into. I'm worried. Group hug dosers. I love that. I love you guys so much. And I appreciate all 800 of you here. I love you. And thank you for being here and subscribing, and share this with someone if they want like a fair, accurate conversation on everything, on, this conversation about just seeing it from all sides. Okay. I love you guys. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.